Good evening and praise be to God. This is another opportunity where we come together to have this very interesting conversation on Occupy Today, Kenya's leading Christian business show. And it is coming to you courtesy of Hope TV, where you look and live. Last week, we were discussing an amazing topic. I'm saying amazing because a lot of us are there. When business falls apart. And there are many instances that business falls apart. And I know you could be having a question, you could be having a comment. Please get in touch with us. You can tweet on HopeTV_KE or at DM Tanki, and we'll be glad to connect with you. But there is something else you can do today. And by the way, I am waiting to know where you are. Please, SMS, there is an SMS code that you can see on your screen. It is 22232. 22232. Please send a text. I just want to know, where are you connecting from? If you are in Mombasa, if you are in Kisumu, please let me know. I want to read it, and please also include your name, and so that I can read. We want to know, we just want to confirm that we are not talking to ourselves. Of course, I know you are there. We want to confirm that we are not talking to ourselves, so that we can engage we can have a discussion. We want to help us, because at Occupy Today, we help you to radiate the glory of God and to shine in the marketplace for God's glory. So when business falls apart, there is a verse in the Bible, Psalms number 34, verse 19. The scripture says, many, not a few. I read that and I said, wow, this is so interesting. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. Even if I was just to stop there, many are the afflictions of the righteous. Now, when business falls apart, I have a feeling that is part of where the afflictions come from. But here is the good news. It is written that God intervenes and rescues the righteous from all such afflictions. Okay? So if your business has gone down for whatever reason, we have good news for you. God will come through. And this is the reason why we have two panelists, experts, people who can be able to help us in one way or the other. And I'll introduce them to you. We had them last week, and they did a fantastic job. And we want to just hear again, how do we come out of the challenges of falling apart in our businesses? In a more practical way, they will share with us very practical steps so that we can be able to come out of such. I know this is part of what we do on a daily basis, including me. At Lanex Africa Limited, this is what we do. We assist people to come out of challenges and to be able to continue to grow. My brother.
Here I am.
You are here?
Yes, I am.
Please, just in case somebody is tuning in and was not there last week, just tell us, who is Kuria?
Yes, my name is Kuria Daniel. I am a business coach and a businessman in my own right.
Yeah.
And in our business, which we have actually rebranded now, it's called the Next Level Community.
Okay.
We're calling ourselves Next Level Community because we realize that there are many people with different capabilities that I don't have. I'm strong in one area and another. So to be able to give our clients an opportunity to look into their business, ask the right questions, and help them to define and have a clarity in their business, and help them to get to the next level, and also correct these kind of things that we are saying. When we fail, when our business is failing, what do we do? So that's one of the things that we do. We ask you the relevant questions, the right questions.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily give you an answer, but we help you to get the answer right in you.
Yeah.
Because we believe that pertaining to life and godliness, including business, you have everything locked within you.
Yeah. Because God has already put in you. In fact, I like it when in Ephesians 3:20, the Bible talks about God being able to do exceedingly, abundantly. And then he goes on to explain that through the power that is at work, not in heaven,
in you,
inside you.
Yes.
Madam.
Lovely. My name is Faith Nashipai. Thank you so much for having me again today. I am the lead of Thriving Communities Africa. This is an organization that is pursuing social transformation, and we are very particular about sustainability. And in our approach, our target population are men and boys. So we work a lot with men and boys at community level. We also advocate for the rights of men at policy level in the country. We work closely with the State Department for Gender. Besides that, we are also into mental health, and so we do a lot of mental health programming where we are looking at, if we are talking about suicide prevention, say, how do we prevent it at community level? So we do programming for such. We also do programming for companies and mental health programming for companies, and a little bit of policies for mental health for companies and other organizations. So that is what we do.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. So as I said, we have people who will help us today. But please, you can let us know where you are tuning in from at HopeTV_KE or at DM Tanki, and I'll be glad to be able to connect with you and even read out your name. But as I said, we have another way of reaching us. There is a code that you can actually send an SMS right now as we are talking on air. 222-22232. That is the SMS code. Please drop in and tell us where you are, and also share with us what business are you running and what is the stage of your business, how is your business, what is the health status of your business. We'll be glad to know so that we know we are communicating to people who are actually listening and they are benefiting from the discussion. The SMS code 22232, and at DM Tanki, that is a Twitter handle, and we can be able to come back to you. The hashtag is Occupy Today, and the rest will be able to connect. Last week, we discussed a number of things, but this week we want to look at the practical steps. What is it that we can be able to do to come out of a fallen business, either to resuscitate the same business or to get out of it and just dust yourself and go to another line. Because when a business falls, Madam Nashipai told us that you have to go through, I like how you put it, you know, you have to go through loss.
Grief moment.
Loss and grief.
Loss and?
Loss and grief.
Loss and grief, yes. You know, when we talk about loss and grief, ni kama kuna mtu amekufa. I even don't like it. I prefer...
The truth is that any form of, anything that someone loses, it is a form of loss. And depending on your levels of attachment, then you also have to grieve what you have gone through. If it is something that you are really closely attached to, there is the process, there is the emotional person that we normally like suppressing.
Okay.
Yet the suppressing results to affecting our systems. Like it can affect the way you relate with family, it can affect the way you relate with friends, it can affect the way you relate with other things like substances and all that. So it is always good not to suppress, but to accept that, yes, I have lost, it is painful, and go through the process of that pain and depression that comes with this, and then acceptance comes eventually.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. You know, if you're running a business, maybe a turnover of 10 million every month, and now you have zero, and now you are looking at creditors, you are looking at even your own employees.
Yes.
Sometimes you wonder, these characters have been with them for a long time, and now they don't want to understand you.
And unfortunately, sometimes you even end up projecting. Projecting, in what I mean by projecting is where you're now trying to blame people. You're trying to apportion blame to others because you're feeling that these workers did not do, or these creditors did not give me the right terms. So you're trying to apportion blame to other people, but you're not looking at where exactly did I fail, or you're even blaming the devil. Huyu shetani ameleta shida sana.
Especially believers, the coastals.
Well, that sounds like a good place to start. Because she talks about the mental issues, the heart issues and all that. My business teacher taught me that we need to separate business and the person. And I think this is one of the greatest places that I would really, that it gave me when I told you that I've had failed businesses. So I think I have a little bit of 20 cents that I can be able to share about a business that is failing. But to separate the two in the sense that when the business fails, it is not you who's failed.
It is a business that has failed.
It has a business that has failed. And therefore, once we separate the two, and probably you can be able to help us in this one, we talk about mental issues, because before we get into the practical aspects, the moment I realized I did not fail, it is my business the model that did not work.
Yeah.
And probably then the environment was not right for me, or whatever it could be. The first thing that we need to actually realize is it is not me who failed. It is, I might have not taken the right steps and what have you, but the business has failed, but I still have another chance.
And let me tell you why I like that, Bwana Kuria. I discovered it sometimes back myself. Because when you have so many things that you are doing, and then they don't work, you have programs you have put in place, they don't work. You know, it draws your energy, it sucks your energy, it cripples your ability to move on.
Creativity is cut.
Your creativity is cut, and because you have no money, you can't think straight. People are calling you, and they are quarreling you, and they are calling you names. It is not easy. Now, you can even be auctioned.
Yes.
But what I discovered is that I need to do what you have just said. Separate these two things.
Yes.
If an auctioneer comes, he's not auctioning me.
Yes.
He's auctioning a car.
Yes.
I am not going to be auctioned. It is a car that will be auctioned.
Yes.
He's auctioning the business assets. He's not auctioning me. I will actually go back to my house.
Yes.
I will go back to my children.
Now, unless, of course, you have attached your domestic stuff.
However, Dave, it is important to note that, yes, we say it is business, we are separating business and what we are doing. And that is okay. And we are going to look at facts and consider all these things as factual. But remember, the person who's interacting with this business has put in their all in this business. So if it is waking up in the morning, they wake up to a certain program. I wake up and I leave and I have to be in the office by 6. So they're coming to terms with the reality that from tomorrow, I will not be waking up in the office. The next thing is, I have been able to bankroll my needs at home because of this business. Now that it has gone under, I don't know how to move on from here. So much as we are saying that we want, and then there are people that you walk into the office and maybe the secretary is the one who smiles and you feel, wow, the sunshine has just landed in this office. Or you have this Monday meeting fellowship and it helps you plug in and helps you build your belief system. Now, these are things that this person is going to lose. They are not pushing money.
No, it is true. We are saying we need to accept that reality. But there are people who are harassing us because there is no more income, which we were using to pay them. We bought goods and we have not paid. The guy will not sit and allow you to have peace when you have not paid his goods. He might come for the assets. We need to be able to separate.
Yes.
For the sake, and actually for me it has worked wonders. You separate the fact that the guy is not pursuing me. He's pursuing the business.
Oh, yes.
So that I maintain my rationality and I maintain soberness, I need to be able to separate.
I think, as she says, we have a struggle in separating ourselves and the business.
Yeah.
And, the business becomes you and you are the business. So when the business goes, then you see your livelihood is gone. But we have a choice. And now that we are learning better things, we do not need to repeat the mistakes that we did when our businesses went down.
Yeah.
We need to start getting the principles right. From the word go. From the word go, we are taught, separate the business
And yourself.
and yourself. The other thing is this, that some people, get funds for the business.
They get funding
Yes,
of their lives
yes.
from the business.
Yes, the first thing is you're not in business until you have put in money into the business. I really want to define that and say this, that you're actually not in business if you have not actually come to a point and say, this is the concept that I have, this is the business that I have. Then, the ideal situation, you'll have separated yourself and you're looking for funds, having fed yourself.
And you are on salary.
Yes.
From the business.
And you are actually putting money in your business and make it a separate entity. Then from there, and it's not as easy as I'm saying, because all our emotions and everything are taken up by running a business.
Yeah.
But it's so important for us to be able to separate the two. And the day we'll be able to do that, then we actually we already in the first step of success.
But this is someone who's failed. This is someone who's failed. Probably they had even separated their
Actually,
business.
we want to say he has not. The business has failed.
Yes,
it is the business that has fallen apart, not the guy.
Yeah, we are not blaming the guy.
No, it is not even a question of blaming.
Yeah,
we are talking about
the entity has gone under.
Yes, the entity has gone under.
Because these are two different people.
Now we need this guy.
Entities.
Yeah, we need this guy to be sober.
Yes.
So that either he resuscitates the business.
Yes.
Or he does something else for the business.
Yeah.
Or
he picks himself up and does something.
On the same
yes,
note,
yes.
You rather the guy keeps saying, I am failing, I failed, I'm no good. I feel I can never get a business going. Oh, I am this and that. I would watch this particular person. I'd like to coach this particular person to actually get that step out of their mind. Because one of the things that happens when you fail, some of it stores in your subconscious.
Yeah.
And when you see anything that looks closer to a failure, or anything that is
you start panicking.
It starts playing again. Yeah. But now if you can start telling your subconscious mind that, look, I am not the business. This is a business entity. If the business entity has failed, I have not failed. I can pick up again. I can remodel myself. I can refigure the business.
Yeah.
Start running again.
Yes, but I hear where faith is coming from, because we will need to come and talk about this guy. Because the reason the business failed is because of decisions that were made. The reason the business failed is because of actions that were taken or not taken. The reason the business failed is because of strategies that never worked, if at all there were strategies. And those things are domiciled in human beings. And that human being needs to be managed separately.
Yes.
Because you can have a business with policies.
Yeah.
Very clear policies, very clear guidelines. You have set up everything. And it's a complete, functional entity. But then the people and the system, the social system that is within, or the people, the human resource within this organization, are the ones who will either make it work or not make it work. In a big way, many companies and many organizations fall not because of these externalities of COVID and other things, but it is because of the way business has been running. And the people who are running the business, these are people, human beings, human resource are the ones who are running the business.
In fact, Colin Powell says, after the experience of the Desert Storm, he said organizations don't matter. Theories of management are nothing. Strategic plans doesn't matter either. Endeavors, that was the realization that he came up with, and it is part of the 16 leadership nuggets that are now popular and they're running all over the world. He says endeavors succeed or fail not because of management theories, not because of strategies, not because of anything, but because of the people involved, the human element. Yeah.
So even this person who's saying my business, or they started the business and they have failed, and the business has failed, it is hard to exonerate yourself from the business until you do a good analysis.
Yeah.
And say that these are the areas that things did not work. In blindness, someone can hold on to denial.
Yeah.
And they decide, this business is still working. And you realize that someone is just incurring losses over rents and other, overheads and everything. They're still incurring a lot of losses as they hold on to their denial process.
No, it is very true. And by the way, as we continue with the discussion, as I told you, you can tweet at DM Tanki or at HopeTV_KE, and you can send a text using your mobile phone on 22232. I say it again, 22232, and we will be glad to know where you are connecting from.
I just wanted to add that what failing of a business it starts off not at the time that you close the door. But actually, there's the failing of the business. You might even be running and doing a turnover.
Yeah.
And cash is coming in and out and what are you failing starts when you're not able to get the objectives for the reason why the company was set. When the objectives are not met, to make profit, and you find yourself consuming and all that kind of. At the end of the day, it might take some time before you even close the door, but the business has been failing. But that's at this particular time. That's what I mean. We need now to keep. The first thing that we all need to actually do is check on our books. Figures don't lie.
Yeah.
If we can actually, now we've gotten into the issues of the practical aspects of business and how to now run your business, or rather check your business whether it's failing or not, it's working or not. One of the things that I realize is some of us do not want to check the books. Because
but even before we go there, Bwana Kuria, I like the fact that we are saying when business falls apart,
yes,
when business goes down, the business owner should not beat himself too much.
That should be underlined.
He should not beat himself too much. It is a business
that has failed,
that has gone down, not the person. Because you need to be able to be in the right frame of mind to even begin thinking what to do next. But if you are there crying with the business
you
is
will
down,
be paralyzed.
you will be paralyzed.
Mentally, you're paralyzed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're stuck. You're actually stagnating at that level.
Yeah.
And it is very hard for you to pick up if you're just paralyzing yourself with very negative talk around what happened.
That's what I was alluding to. You're just feeding yourself and playing a tape of defeat.
Yeah.
So that is very critical.
That's key.
That is key. And I'm excited about it. What is the second one?
The second one, now once you realize that one, the difference in the business is different, and I am different. You start re-strategizing. Now, is it a failing business in the sense that it's showing a tendency of not meeting the objectives, which is making profit? Then you need to start looking at the books. And the books, and I like dividing two things. I like dividing one side, which is the front and the back. The front, I would describe the front as the sales. That aspect that generates revenue.
Yeah.
We need to check out the revenue. What is happening here? Where are we making losses? Is it our sales? How compare our sales last year, next year, and see, is it the sales? How is, and you can be able to tabulate all that. And you can also check, before you even get, because these are the other systems and what have you on the backside.
Yeah.
Because you need the systems to support your front activity.
Yeah.
So I think that's very, very important, because figures will not lie.
So you are saying the second thing that you need to do is to look at what you are saying, the front line, the top line.
Yes.
You need to look at your sales.
Yes.
Is your business suffering because you have
not selling?
You are not selling.
Yes.
And you know something? The Small Business Administration in the US, those guys do a lot of research. They discovered businesses fail not because of many things, because of no sales.
No sales.
Or limited sales.
Simple.
So the sales you are getting is not able to finance all your operations, or you are not getting any sales at all.
Yes.
Okay. Then now you can, if that is the reason, you can strategize on how to get.
Yes. Then you can sit down with your team and say, fine, where are we? What were our targets? You can check your targets again. Why aren't we selling? How are our products? Are they not attractive to the market target that we're looking at? Yeah. And all those aspects. But the first thing is look at the books. And once you look at the books, they will tell you. They speak.
Assuming you have books. Sometimes, Faith, you might not be having books.
So true. And that is the undoing of many of us who are in the micro business.
The micro level.
Yeah, the micro level. Yeah. Because we assume a lot. Yeah. We assume a lot, and people, you'll do business here and you say, I will return this money to the business. So you cannot record the transactions that happened. You cannot track what happened. Even if you brought an accountant, there is no miracle he's going to do to give you those records. So it is important, even as people get started with a business, let them engage an accountant to help them come up with a financial system. And at least to make sure that there is some form of recording.
Sometimes I say when you are engaging an accountant at a micro level, I don't know the picture of a micro guy that you have in mind. Even the thought of engaging an accountant is not there. Because this is a guy who will want to be paid.
Yes.
And he thinks he doesn't have money.
He wants to be paid, but you can negotiate. there are so many ways of handling these businesses nowadays. You'll get someone with an accounting office, and they will say, we service micros. And servicing micros, this is our rate per year.
Yeah.
And they give you a very manageable rate of close to maybe 20,000 for a whole year.
Yeah.
These are books that you can rely on for future funding. These are books that you can rely on for you to get a quality auditable report. You know? Then the other thing is, why don't we do audits for our companies and our small businesses? Because an audit report will give you everything. Part of the sales, it will give you everything about
But before you
business.
talk about audit, there is first a problem because there are no
books.
There are no books.
Exactly.
So the auditor has nothing to audit. Okay?
Yeah.
And then number two, the mental framework of the micro business person is at that level is not for me. Mimi nauza hii vitu, I finance my basic needs in the house, I'm okay. Simple. So they are following a very simple model. And I think that is the undoing of very many of us.
That is the undoing because the minute the bank, you want a loan or you want financing for you to step up your supplies, the books of accounts are not available. So you still have a big problem.
No. Let me break it down so that you will not have a big problem. Because at the micro level, the bank will never ask you for audited financial reports. In fact, it will ask you for your bank statement. Your bank statement alone, because this guy is not looking for 1 million shillings.
Yeah.
He's not even looking for 500,000. Do you know how much loan he wants?
How much?
20,000.
Oh no! Oh no!
He wants
they're
loan of
looking at
20,000.
the social security.
Yeah, he's looking at, this is somebody who when he wants loan, no book is to be, in fact, saa zingine unaulizwa, do you have sofa sets? So nobody cares how much statements you have even, or how much whatever. As long as you can guarantee with your house sofa sets.
With your house sofa sets,
we will
20,000.
We will give you the 20, the 50,000 you want.
Wow.
That is the micro fellow.
But this is what I'm asking, Dave. Someone has been in business for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Right? You want to tell me this person should not get some level of knowledge on how to do the accounting? Because if you want this business to grow, really, nobody wants to start something and then it dies along the way.
Put it this way. At Occupy today, our mission, part of our mission, is to help this micro fellow to know that he doesn't need to remain there. We want him to grow from micro to medium. Actually, from micro to small.
Yes.
Then the small business person should migrate from being small to medium. Because you are not condemned to stay at that level.
Exactly. I really want to changia that because I've been brought up in a shop. My mother and my father was, let me say my mother. My mother was a shopkeeper. And you know, in terms of records, that was not an issue. She stayed at the shop. She was all alone in her shop. Sell the sukari and what have you. Get out there and sell sukuma wiki and arrange some potatoes and come back there. She just rotating near there. But when you talk about Occupy today, we're talking about breakthrough.
We want people to transition.
Yes, we're talking about from this particular level to this particular level.
And my brother,
and that gap.
And there is no problem being wherever level you are now. There is every problem, the 2 or 3 years he's talking about, for you to remain at the same level. Because characteristics of living things, they all grow.
They all grow.
So you, micro fellow, you must be able to grow. Because that is what we want. That's why we are saying if your business falls apart, we want you to repackage yourself by understanding, number one, that there is a difference between you and the business. Number two, you have said we look at the top line. We look at the top line, the sales. We interrogate the sales and know what is the reason why I am not able to sell. My strategy is wrong. Is it that my product, just like you say, is it that my product is no longer selling? And you go through the whole process, there are a number of things to be checked. Is there something else, Faith? Just in about, by the way, we may not even have, I think we'll continue with that after we come back from the break. Well, you can hear the conversation is getting very interesting. We are discussing what you need to do when your business falls apart. And we are trying to help you when we come back from this short break, we'll be giving you practical steps like the first two that we have seen are things that can be able to help you to go to the next level so that you can succeed in your business, because we want you to shine in the marketplace for God's glory as you continue to grow, because you can't remain there. So don't go away. We'll be back after a few minutes.
Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Spotlight.
Do you feel that they are in a place where they can effect a Barack Obama moment?
When you hear the word of God and you hear Jesus is speaking.
Real talk on real issues.
You know, the Bible says faith without works is dead.
The truth of the gospel that will survive the time is not a health and wealth gospel.
When there is time to harmonize and bring one composite amendment.
With idealistic, thought-provoking guests.
So people come to be serviced, to be encouraged, to be empowered.
When the storm is over, you desire the closeness you have with God.
Hosted by Reverend Edward Furi.
Only God can turn a mess into a message.
I have a boy on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'm still preaching on the pulpit.
Amen. Niliona mguu ya nyuma inakuja tu kunikanyaga, imenilenga tu kwa tumbo. Nikaitana tu Jesus.
I got tired of working with the x-ray papers, and one day I just woke up and decided to burn them.
A test into a testimony.
The whole community didn't want to hear that anybody is born again. Excommunicated, straight.
Bila Yesu hakuna njia.
Join Sharon Naitore Wangenye on Testify.
Katika hiyo harakati hiyo spirit ikakemewa, mimi nimeona Yesu Kristo namna hii. Kwa msalaba. Opa. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m. for a moment to grow your faith some more.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Occupy Today, Kenya's leading Christian business show, and it is coming to you courtesy of Hope TV, where you look and live. And we are discussing a very important topic: when business falls apart. Why am I saying it's a very important topic? It is because it's affecting a lot of us in one way or the other. You know, I'm reminded in scripture, this man called Pharaoh, he had a dream, and the dream was such that there were 7 years that were very good, and then there were 7 years that followed, which were not very good. And that is life. Today you are doing so well, and tomorrow you never know. Just negotiating one corner, you could be in a place where things are tough and things are falling apart, and you are not doing very well at all. Now, it is imperative, therefore, that we look at how you can be able to come out of such a scenario where you are falling apart. How you can be able to resuscitate your business or your life so that you can be able to finance your operations, you can be able to finance your things. And as I said earlier, please, you can tweet at DM Tanki and let us know if you have any concerns. We have Kuria, the coach, who can be able to help you. If your business is suffering or your business is afflicted to some extent, the reason why we have him here is because he has the capacity, the capability, and he has the time for you so that your business can be able to come. And you can always, get in touch with Hope TV and ask for Kuria the coach. You can actually ask that you want to have a meeting or you want to reach Kuria the coach, and you'll be helped. We also have Faith Nashipai, who is the founder and CEO of Thriving Communities Africa. But beyond that, she is into mental health. When you feel that, things are getting thick, and after the business has gone the way it has gone, you need to be helped. Even to, sometimes it can be so rough that you are seeing stars, okay? And that is when Faith comes in handy. She will be able to help you to come out of the woods and get you back online, because you are the goose that lays the golden eggs. So don't suffer. These people are here to help you. One more time, you can send a message to 22232, and we will be glad to respond to your issues. And once more, at DM Tanki is the Twitter handle, and we'll be glad to connect with you. Thank you so much. Now, so we have talked about 2 practical steps. Our time is moving so fast. What is the third one, Kuria?
Well, we've checked. I keep saying that business speaks to us, and the only way that business speaks to you is when you look at the figures.
You look at the figures.
Yes. When you look at the figures, it will tell you, fine, you're not making enough sales, and these are your expenses. When you look at the bottom line, which shows that you're making losses. Continuously repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
That's when we say the business is failing, and ultimately the business will close down.
Yeah.
So the next thing, the business speaks to you and tells you, fine, you're not selling. Then you find out, you start finding out, why am I not selling? Is it my product? Is it the way I sell? Is it my sales team? Is it my promotional tactics? And you check those ones. And if it's a sales team, and we said basically, business is selling. If you're not selling, you will go down.
Yeah.
So that for me, sales is everything.
So you are saying that this guy, he needs to have what to look at.
Yes.
Your business has gone down. You need to know why it went down.
Find out.
We have said it could be the sales. And sales, you don't need even to look at a book. Because if you open your shop and nobody walked in to buy, then suddenly you know there are no sales.
Yes.
But do you have beyond the sales anything else you can make reference that can speak to you? Do you have a mirror you can look at? And those are the numbers you're talking about.
Yes.
A lot of micro people don't have. I think small business owners have books they can refer to. Medium-sized companies have books they can look at. Micro people, a lot of them, a good majority of them, maybe 70% of them, 80% may not have anything. So how do they look at the queue, the mirror? What do they look at?
One of the ways that I realize that in small enterprises, medium enterprises, is even you have the debtors knocking at your door too often.
Yes.
You should ask yourself, what's happening? If you cannot pay your invoices in time, if you cannot buy your stocks in time, in other words, you've sold and you really need to restock, and then you do not have money to buy the stock, that tells you there's something about your stocks. So you have to address yourself, fine, if I do not have enough stocks to sell, then what do I do? Do I have a problem with my suppliers? Then I need probably to talk to my suppliers in a different way. But more so, you need to reconfigure, reimagine your business again and start reawakening, looking at those figures and everything, because you might not even be having the books, but you cannot contest results. You cannot contest results when you cannot pay stock. You cannot restock. You cannot contest results when, I mean, you
are not able to pay your bills.
You're not paying your bills. So basically then, if that happens, then you will have, if you can't get stocks, then what do I do to get stocks? You'll ask yourself, am I spending too much money, and do I need to cut down my expenses? So one of the things that you need when a business is failing, you look at your expenses and the pattern of your expenses and see where are we spending so much money? Where can we cut? So do we cut on our transport costs, for example, depending on the business that you're doing? Do we cut on the salaries of the people that we are hiring? Do we cut on our expenses for promotion? That's a different issue altogether. We could address it later. But the first thing is that how do I cut? Because the bottom line is that your expenses exceed your sales. So the post-mortem is where.
Okay. So you are looking at, you need to have what to look at. So that is the encouragement you are saying. You need to have what to look at.
Yes.
Unfortunately, a number of us don't have what to look at. And that is why we fall, and we fall badly. That is why we fall and we have no way of coming out. That is why we fall and we get devastated. We don't have anything to remind us or to tell us that the reason I'm failing is because my expenses are too much. I am buying too much coffee. I am going to the wrong places to buy coffee because I'm buying my coffee at 250 instead of drinking coffee at 50 shillings. So we don't have anything to tell us that.
Yes.
So listen, good people, even the business you're about to start will still go under. And I hate to tell you this. even if you are praying, because you must do the right thing. You must do the right thing. Madam Faith, I have looked at what Kuria said. Maybe I have a mirror that I'm looking at, or I have some numbers I'm looking at, and it has given me a lot of, things that I need to do. I need to cut my expenses. I need to cut my traveling. Instead of traveling by plane, I go by bus. Instead of even traveling, I use Zoom. Okay, so there are a number of things I can be able to do. Where else do I go from there?
I think the next thing is to be very realistic about what the mirror is telling you.
Okay.
Many times we deny.
Uh-huh.
We fight around different things and we try to pick, no, this one I am not, this one I am. No. Just look at the truth and be very objective.
Mm-hmm.
The word here is being very objective so that you can be able to to pick these issues as from that point, not as you, but from that point. Then you're able to diagnose. When people give you your story, when people give you a story about another person, you will find that even in a spectator football, Najua World Cup is about to start. We'll have the spectators are the ones who have the best solutions and how a kick should be done.
Yeah.
They're the ones who have all the solutions because they're outside.
Okay.
But when you bring the player outside, he'll also have the same solutions. So why I'm saying, put it on the field, be a spectator, is simply trying to help you be objective around this and have an oak eye, have around a complete 360 assessment. Then on that, and ask yourself, what is it that I can do better?
Yeah.
And this is not just about the sales. It is not just about the books. It is also about the people relations. I am more of a mental health practitioner, so I will I will look at the people more. I'm more of a social person, so I will look at the people more and ask, where did we go wrong in this company? Why is it that we are not having sales and yet we have a whole fleet? I mean, we have a whole 20 salespeople.
Yeah.
Why is it that they're not bringing income, or they're not delivering? What is causing them not to deliver? So it is not just about the numbers, it is not just about the sales, it is also why.
Yeah.
Because when you start asking why and querying all these, then you will find the problem and you'll be able to solve it from an objective point.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Dr. Mark Boyd. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate, my brother, that you can plug in. And I can see Dr. Duhyu Kitahi also plugged in. Thank you so much. Let's know if you have anything that you want to voice or comment. We'll be glad to just get to know what you think. Again, the Twitter handle at DM Tanki, and we'll be glad to just be a part of the conversation. So number one, we have looked at a couple of things really, and even from last week. But I like what you are saying, the reality of accepting what the mirror is telling you and appreciating, because sometimes I think the challenge is, and I think, Faith, you have put it so well, we live in denial. We live in denial. We don't want to accept that actually this thing is irresponsible. Is responsible for the decision, because most of the time it is you made the decision.
Stop back, the back stop at you.
Yeah, you don't want to accept that this is responsible. The decision you made last month or last year is responsible for your afflictions because you are a macho man. You are Mr. Know-it-all. Who can speak to convince a business person of that type? Does he need Kuria the coach? Does he need to look for a consultant? What does he need to do? If the mirror is talking to you and you are not listening, what is the remedy?
I was just sharing with you the story of Habakkuk.
Yes.
And the Bible says from the end, we're starting from the end, and it says, though there be no cattle in the shed and the fig tree blossoms not. Then he talks about ahead there. I mean,
and there are no figs
talking about
in the tree. There are no figs.
The fig tree
has no figs. There are no
there are no
fruits.
figs.
Yeah.
In actual sense, I mean, in that culture, those things are so important. They actually talked about wealth. He's saying that there's no wealth. Finally, he talks about the issue. Beginning there, he says, he complains and talks, oh, I'm broke, I'm doing what? But he says, I will go to my watchtower and listen. There is one thing that we really need to get out of. We need to get out of ourselves and, actually go to a quiet place.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about. That's very, very important. I think one of the things for Habakkuk to get there, for the Lord to talk to him, he had to get out of the whole situation and go back and reconfigure his imagination. He reconfigure and come up with a compelling vision that is going to cause the salespeople and your people to now get into the vision. Because at the end of the day, if my vision, there's no clarity in my vision. There is no why. And I think one of the things that we've dealt before, we talked about, some of the businesses that will stand is because they've answered the question, why am I in this business? In fact, when you can answer the question why, you actually be motivated to wake up, even to re-engineer that particular business. Because at a particular time, if your why is not strong enough, then you don't feel like you even want to think about that business, re-engineer it. So I'm saying the first thing is when we're talking about people, how am I going to sell a new vision to my people if I do not come back and reconfigure my vision and come up with a new, a more compelling vision?
And it's not just coming up with a more compelling vision, it is also owning your vision.
Yes.
Because there is the bit of reconfiguring, there is the bit of reimagining and reimaging the whole direction. But there is also you believing. And you notice that when you're having a double-mindedness, you don't move.
In fact, the Bible says, let no double-minded man expect anything from the Lord. There is a guy here, unfortunately, he has not given us his name. He's saying that, the trouble could be selling market price is lower because we don't understand pricing. So you suffer, and I see this with farmers, because we don't count every input so that we understand the total cost of the service we are offering or the farm produce that we have gotten. So the selling price, we just allow the market forces to dictate. Sometimes it is even lower than the inputs that we put in. Again, the mirror.
Yes.
The absence of the mirror. Because these people don't have any points of reference.
And also the issue of information.
Yeah.
You talk about sometimes we need to be at the tip of information when we run a business. We need to acquire as much information as we can on what we are doing. The day you don't make a deliberate effort to be able to get information on what you're doing, your business will start dying. If I've planted potatoes in Nyandarua, for example, and all of a sudden there are some potatoes coming from Tanzania and they are selling cheaper. And here I am, like what we're talking about inputs and all these things that we're having about farming, then it becomes a challenge.
Yeah.
So I need to ask myself, if I'm in farming, what do I do for what particular season? If you're talking about it, because we need to cut these businesses into different areas. There are people who do niche businesses. We gave an example one time of a man who had bought the vuvuzela. The idea, the concept was right. And it was a great product for the World Cup, like now, which is coming right now.
Yeah.
But just as they had landed containers of vuvuzela in South Africa, the government banned, FIFA banned.
FIFA banned vuvuzela?
Yes. So there are those kind of things that, those are
the dynamics.
You can't really control. But there are some things that we really need to control, and some things that we really need to emphasize. Getting our books right, and getting a basic entrepreneurial knowledge.
And I think we have done that, Bwana Kuria.
There is a question that you asked, where do we go? Because after you have faced your truth, you ask yourself, do I need a business consultant? Do I need a financial consultant? Would a coach support me? Those are the questions that someone asks, because many times we want to just keep trying, but we do not want to go and get our axes sharpened.
Yeah.
So you're still using the blunt. You have a very good idea. You have tried to look at things differently, but then you remember last time we said you look for a mentor.
Yes, because your axe is dull.
Yeah.
And the scripture is very clear that when the axe is dull, more strength is needed.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't have that strength left after you have labored so much.
And sometimes it also helps to just go sit under someone
Yeah.
and present your truth and say, this is what I am seeing, and be a little bit vulnerable about your business and see how can you, with the wisdom of this person, and I'm believing that this is someone who's higher than you or someone who succeeded,
Yeah.
they'll be able now to help you pick from where you are and see a few areas, connecting dots that can help you.
But tell me something, Faith. If I have analyzed, what are my options when my business has failed? What options do I have?
You have the option of, number one, looking at your losses and recovering.
Okay.
Now, you need to come up with a recovery plan, depending on what really made your business fail.
Okay.
You also have an option of winding up.
Yeah. Accept that the thing has.
If this business is not answering to any need in the community and it is not working for me, or the area is infiltrated, I want to go to the, is it called the red economy, or what do we call it?
Yeah.
You dive into the areas that people have not dived into. Or the policies in the country are not working for us. I know Kuria had a polythene paper, polythene bag manufacturing plant. And then NEMA just came and the laws changed and he had to shut down. So there are some things that will cause you to literally shut down the business and go back and think again.
So that is option 2.
That is option 2.
As we look at this, thanks so much. I can see Lily Koech plugged in. Thank you so much. We appreciate wherever you are tuning in from. We truly appreciate. Yes. What is the other option? So those are 2. You can resuscitate the old business by developing a recovery plan, or you can close it.
Close it and sell some assets to see whether you can recover. You can make a little bit money out of the assets and be able to start all over again, another vision, another direction, another business.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong. I know the emotions that are come about with closing a business.
Yeah, she told us about loss and grief.
Yes, she talks about close and grief.
Yeah.
And probably we need to do that. We close and grief and go and reset ourselves and look and ask ourselves, fine, this business is not working. Which other business can I get into?
Yeah.
And probably see what you can recoup from this business before you lose everything. Because sometimes you could actually sell some of the assets and be able to get into something else.
And especially when someone is winding up, they also need to appreciate that even in every failure, there is a success.
In every failure, there is success.
In every failure, there is a success.
Okay, tell us about that.
Because you may have failed because of certain things, but it doesn't mean that you did not succeed in making sure that you had established. It doesn't mean that you did not succeed in developing disciplines in that area of becoming a business person. It doesn't mean that you were not able to transact.
Yeah.
Right? So there are several areas that you improved, you became better, you succeeded. Right? Or probably this was your first business and it survived for at least 3-4 years. I mean, you give yourself a thumbs up.
Yeah, mine has survived for 18 years.
You know?
18 years, I'm a mature teenager.
Yes.
Lanex Africa began in 2004.
Some of us are still toddlers.
And that's what we were saying.
It's still going strong.
As you come out of it, as you know, when you get into a failure, come out with something.
Okay.
Yes.
You come out with experience.
Yeah.
That's not failure.
Okay.
There is experience that is.
There is some learning. There is some learning. And I keep saying, if you had started something on this side and it is not working, just consider starting it this same side. The reality is that you have already tested and tried a lot of things on this end. So you're not a startup. I say your mind is.
At least you have some experience that can help you.
You have gone through some certain school, and you have succeeded in one or another. So it's not entirely a loss.
Yeah. You are not completely.
There's no complete.
You are not raw.
No.
You have been refined.
Yes.
In some way.
Yes.
Well, this is very interesting. I think there is a lot that we can discuss in this topic, and there are viewers who are watching us and they are saying, "Nyinyi watu hamuelewi what what I'm going through." Is prayer an option, Bwana Kuria? Does prayer solve anything?
Prayer is an option, but if prayer should activate your faith, and faith should activate an action, because faith without action is dead,
Yeah.
and you cannot be able to move forth. But basically, prayer changes you. The way I see prayer, basically, it changes me.
Okay.
It doesn't really change. God is not moved by your the circumstances and the things of
God is not moved by your problems.
There's no emergency in heaven.
Yeah.
But it changes me to start being more, to think more about myself, to think about the business, to actually also humble me.
Yeah.
You've been used to going to some places that cause your ego to go up and spend crazy. When those things are happening, prayer actually calms you down, and like Habakkuk, watching on his watchtower, waiting to hear what God will say. I think prayer is a good starting point, but it's not a solution to itself. You pray to the end of the day, and
it's part of the solution.
It's part of the solution.
And this is how I see prayer, Dave.
Yeah.
I see prayer as the #1 point of growing your faith and believing in yourself. Because many times when you're praying, you're alone. And you're calling forth what you'd want to see.
Okay.
You're mentioning what you'd want to see. And what is faith? Faith is believing in things that are not yet seen. And things
substance.
Substance,
Of things hoped for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, when we talk about prayer, prayer is helping us bring forth and call out what we want to see. Then now it comes to a place of, and just like Kuria is saying, you cannot have faith without actions.
Yeah.
Because yes, you've called out. Then what do you do after that? After you have prayed for 2 hours, please go and work for 8 hours. After you have prayed.
Maybe I'm waiting for manna to
from.
No. Again, prayer is a moment of, because sometimes we are very good at prayer, but our prayer is one-sided.
Yeah.
And that's where many times business people fail. Because we are very quick at doing things, we are not quick at listening to what God is saying. So it's important that we also apportion ourselves time to listen to the directions that we're getting from God, or the guidance that we're getting from God after we have prayed.
Good. Well, this is very interesting. I want to trust that the Lord is helping you through this conversation to get your personal roadmap to recovery or personal roadmap to restarting another business. But whether you are considering the recovery route or another business, you need to be on top of the tower where Habakkuk went so that you can hear God, because God knows where he is taking you. He says, I know the plans that I have concerning you, plans of future, plans of hope. My brother, 30 seconds, closing remarks.
30 seconds. I want to encourage you not to keep quiet. We have what it takes to turn businesses around. I've spoken to a few people and asked them the right questions, and slowly we've come up with programs and ways of re-strategizing and bringing back the business. So don't keep quiet there thinking that dying alone with your problem. Please call and make sure that we are available to help your business.
Good. And there's a lady here called Gloria. She's my sister, by the way, in Narok. Wow. She said that she's very interested and wants to get some help somewhere.
Karibu sana.
Yeah. 30 seconds.
I believe that there is no wealth without mental health. And therefore, it's important for us as people who are believing God, and even people who are in business, to be of the right state of mind, for us to be able to deliver and to be able to manifest in the best of our abilities. That way, I want to invite people who are going through probably depression because of the losses that they have gone through. And someone is going through some grieving and some processes, and the distance between anger and talking badly because you're going through a certain period of loss is very short. So it's important that we also reach out to counselors and psychologists like myself and see how you can be supported and helped to become a better person and even be the kind of life that you want to be in your business.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, Bona Kuria. Thank you so much. Faith, it is always exciting to have you. Well, as we've said, at Occupy today, we help you shine in the marketplace for the glory of God. We know there are challenges that are there. And we saw earlier, even in the verse that we considered in Psalms 34, that many are the afflictions of the righteous. Don't suffer because of such afflictions. God has an agenda with you. God has a plan for you. And God wants to help you. He wants to support you because you remain his child. Whether you have problems or not, you remain his good daughter, his good son. And he wants to carry you with him and bless you and prosper you. So don't suffer. Don't stay. Kuria, the coach, is here. He's a business coach and he can be able to help you. We have our sister here who is also a mental health expert. In case you are feeling that you might be losing it, you need to talk to her and she will be able to help you. Believe it or not, I'm also here.
Oh, yes?
Yes.
I'm also here. And for the last 18 years, this is part of what we do at Lanex Africa to help you go to the next level. So thank you so much. My name is DM Tanki, and I wish you a blessed night.
Shalom.